is going on YouTube? Tyler here with False Neutral Media. Alongside me, my co-host, my brother Trevor, and a very special guest today, which long overdue. We got CJ Tucker. Super pumped to have you on and kind of get your backstory, like before we get into geeking out on the pro motocross of Ironman, which has endless conversations. But no, yeah, CJ, tell us a little bit about yourself and where like you come from and how you fell in love with moto, basically.
Dude, first off, I'm stoked to be here. Dude, it's exciting. I love to talk about dirt bikes and geek out about it. A little bit about me. I was born and raised Sacramento area. I lived on 5 acres up in Placerville, uh, pretty deep in the sticks. And my dad got us into dirt bikes at a young age and was racing by the age of 3 and was just grew up racing, I was homeschooled for a good portion of my life. And we were kind of like your traditional racing family. And I'd say when I was going into middle school, we had a friend of ours, a family friend of ours, that ended up passing away due to a crash. And it happened to be like the same year that we lost Jesse Masterpool. And so that was kind of weighing heavy on my parents. So they pretty much pulled us out of racing for like 5 years. They pretty much told us we were done. And so I ended up going back to public school, tried every other sport that you could think of. I played football, I played basketball, I tried out for volleyball. My sister was like a really awesome volleyball player that got a scholarship to the University of Hawaii. And
Oh wow.
it's funny because I tried to tried out for volleyball and I didn't even make the team.
Oh my. Brutal.
Yeah, in middle
Brutal.
school, literally in middle school, tried to do, follow the sister's footsteps. And, my sister was this big star that was like, the star of every team that she played. She took the high school team to state championships and won. Like my sister was insane
Wow.
at volleyball. And then I didn't even make the team. And yeah, dude, I tried skateboarding, tried snowboarding. I pretty much tried to do everything other than dirt bikes, and there was just nothing that gave me what dirt bikes gave me. So after that 5 year hiatus of like not riding or even touching a bike, I was able to convince my dad to help get a bike to just kind of ride around the house for fun. And that kind of turned into me riding like every day at the house because we had a little track at the house.
Yeah. Mhm.
And tried to get back into it gradually. I, started going out to Hangtown and the local tracks that were around here just for practice days. And I just really loved it, dude, and felt like getting back into racing. And um, I'd say like I was kind of like a C class. I had good bike skills, but I wasn't really, going, crazy throughout those years. It was until like after high school when I really started to have this delusion in my head that like, hey, you could be a pro dirt bike racer. Like
Mhm.
it just kind of, I don't know. I just would watch so many videos, like so many Verb Moto videos, and watch all these races. And I studied it, dude. I just obsessed over it. Gradually got back into it in my after high school, and was working. I got a job at Roseville Motorsports as like a parts guy, and was just racing, geeking out over dirt bikes. I loved it, and my parents weren't too into it at that time, and I just kept my head down. And no matter how many times I ran out of money and hung up the boots, I just would always find a way to come back to it. And yeah, things like really changed in my career when I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019, but I had basically ran out of money again, hung up the boots, but had a couple of really close friends that would help me by like letting me ride their bike, like borrow their bikes. I
Yeah.
was kind of notorious around NorCal as like jumping from homie's bike to homie's bike just because I just was that guy. And a good buddy of mine that I went to high school with, he let me take his Yamaha 450 out to MMX one day, and I was just so like frustrated, I guess, with like my situation in life at that time. I was kind of like in a dark place, but was so thankful that he let me, borrow his bike. And I was out there at MMX on that sand track, just basically riding out all that emotion, just expressing out, just all that emotion that I had. And this guy came up to me at the end of the day, and he was this bald headed, kind of heavier set guy. He came up and just told me some of the nicest stuff I've ever heard about the way I rode. And he was like, dude, you ride with heart. And he's like, I really believe that, you could be something in this sport. And I mean, dude, he had me in tears. His name was Brian, but had me in tears on the way home from the track that day. And that next week, he helped me buy a Yamaha 450.
Wow.
And through him, gain more sponsors that were able to basically go for an effort to get my pro license that year. And so I just started racing with his help and the other help that I was getting through him. And when all that money was starting to come in through those sponsors, my parents were finally like, well, shoot, if these other people are believing in you, I guess we'll start helping out as well. And
Mhm.
so they stepped back in to help chase it. And I went and was able to train at uh, Grindstone down in Southern California with Carrie Shear.
Yeah.
Was able to spend a few months there, which was an awesome experience. Was able to go to Ponca to try and chase points there. And then I did Cal Classic, was able to win a championship there. And then I did what's it called? AZ Open. Won another championship at AZ Open and was able to get my points just in those 3 rounds.
Wow.
And then yeah, that same year I did I was able to go out to I spent a month at club. That was like another thing because we had a couple of guys from NorCal that were going out to Club MX and they were like just raving, like, dude, this is the place to be if you want to like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, be in the sport. And I kind of felt like I needed to go to, training facilities to kind of catch up on all the time that I, missed out on those 5 years that we kind of took a break. So it was just an unreal experience being able to go out to club. I spent some time out there training on like the sickest tracks, like known to humankind, like literally like unbelievable place. And yeah, I was able to qualify for my first national at Ironman. That was in 2021. 2021 was the first national I
Wow.
ever made. Made it through the LCQ, and yeah, I just freaking broke down after that LCQ making it in because I just was like, wow, I finally did it. We made it to the top 40 best dudes. And then I was on such a high from that weekend that the next weekend was Hangtown. It was like the last round of the series. And I actually got a couple of good starts and I scored points, both motos. I got a 19th and a 21st at Hangtown in 2021.
Sick.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
sick.
So that kind of like thrusted my whole career to kind of get me to where I am now. And yeah, it's been a long journey. There's so much other stuff that I forgot in the story. There's just so many people that stepped in to help, and believed in me. And yeah, dude, it gets me emotional thinking about it. All the people that have just kind of helped me along this journey, because it's been a long one for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. So having the viewpoint, right, of this almost Cinderella story, right, for you, where it's like, because what age did you take those 5 years off?
I was going into middle school, so I was probably, I think we stopped racing when I was like, I think 11 or 12, and
So
then took 5 years off and then didn't touch a bike at all for those five
so
years.
so the Cinderella story of missing those formative years where like a lot of people are building their riding styles. You completely missed that. Got back
Yeah,
on the bike, were completely determined. And I'm like, I guess I want to know the mindset and how it changes when you become pro because your whole career as an amateur is always to get there, right?
yeah.
And then when you get there, get to an LCQ, make the main show, right? The main motos, and you're sitting there. Did it ever like what was the moment where it changed from holy shit, I got on the gate to I think I can get top 10, top 15. Like when does that mindset change to where it goes from I can't believe I'm here to oh my gosh, I can actually keep getting better with the hard work. I'm interested in that mindset.
Um, I think that's a good question, and I think it was like I was so delusional. Like my parents would just say like you are living in a fantasy land, like because like just how ridiculous I would be, and I just think that maybe like that was just always in me, that delusion. Like I just for some reason believed that I was no different than those guys up front and the top 20
Mhm.
guys. Like I think even though I took that time off, um, when I started riding again, I was like, I wasn't really any slower than like a lot of the kids that I used to race with when I was younger.
Mm.
Like I hopped back on and like it was like the bike skills were still there, technique was like still kind of there. Um, I think it just was like a delusion that I just had deep down that like to my core, I wanted it so bad and I believed it so much that I could be there that it just kind of came. It's like you just when you really like to your core, no matter what anybody tells you, even if it's your own family that are like, dude, you're nuts, like you're never going to be a professional racer, you'll never score points or whatever they might say. It's like if you have that like gnarly belief deep in you, it's like it's going to manifest. It's just the way our world works, dude. If you believe
Yeah.
in
Right.
anything to your core, it's like it's going to end up happening.
It's very reminiscent to me of like there are two paths that we've seen make champions, right? Which is we've had the Ryan Villapoto where it was like this dude was dominant from 65s until he got onto the pro bikes. And then you have somebody like Ryan Dungey who was scouted at a C class race who went on to
Right.
win championships, right? So it's like, I love that you talk about it. And the way it sounds is there's like a humbleness to it where it's like, you don't go, I had this dream. You go, I had this delusion, man. I was sitting there every day going, I can do that. And it's like
Yeah.
the fact that you're sitting here going, and then when I did, right? Like it's that realization of, well, I guess we can get better from here, right? Like it's not like you're all right, I raced a pro race, time to hang up the boots. It's like, oh, oh shit, we could really do this. Like in the experience of going to all these places, that's awesome, man. Super
Yeah.
excited for you. That's
Yeah.
sick.
And
Yeah.
just,
It's
oh, sorry, go for it.
oh, it was just it's a very like I guess unorthodox journey because I never went to Loretta's. I never I didn't get to do a lot of big nationals, on super minis or even 250s. Like I never raced
Wow.
250s like ever. You know what I mean? Like I never raced 250B. I never had that opportunity to like build in those years. It just was yeah, when you know finally got that support, I just I don't know, I was so delusional. Like I said, I just believed that I could do it. And it just started to transfer over. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing, dude. Your brain is like so powerful when it comes to our reality and like what you can achieve. And um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Just hearing your story and your background, it just makes more sense to me on the person and the rider you are now, because you're always passionate to be there, whether it's 100 degrees to freezing cold, whether you're having bike issues or a rough day, you're always smiling. Anybody
Yeah,
that comes up to you, I know a lot of the youngsters that look up to you come up, and you, dude, that you just don't hesitate for the time of day. Anytime you've been just charging past me, whether to sign up or something, it's like, yo, CJ, what's up? You've literally taken the time and stopping just to talk to me, and just seeing your passion, it just all makes sense. And it's finally awesome to get that background to kind of connect the dots on the writer and the man you are. So that was, that was even humbling for me to listen to, just because, I, like I said, I see you all the time at the tracks and you rip,
yeah.
dude, you freaking rip. I mean,
Thank you, bro.
at Washougal, for instance, you were in 450 qualifying B. You
Hmm.
were on the top with what was it, a 220 or 219 for the first qualifying, and
Yeah,
then the second qualifying you were second right under Josh Mosman. It's like, dude, he has this speed to be here, and all he has is the hard work and the passion and the fucking love for the sport and dirt bikes. And look at where you are.
yeah,
A lot of these kids, are like, I'm never gonna make it, I don't know if I can make it. But it's like, are you putting in that work? Do you have that passion like you want? And you're literally living proof because a lot of the riders go through to Loretta's, they go to Mammoth, they do all the combine, they do a lot just to get those points. And you're like, I just need these points. This is how I have to do it. I'm going pro. I think you're the first rider that I've ever heard like say, um, the process that you went through. Um,
very unorthodox, very
very,
unorthodox.
dude, but
Yeah,
it's
and like,
like, wow.
yeah, my closest buddies, my buddy Wyatt, who let me borrow his bike, that day that like kind of like changed everything. He knows like, just how, dark of a time like I was in. I went through like a breakup with a girlfriend at that time too, and I just was like so down in the dumps. And it's just so crazy to think about just how badly I wanted to get to this point, and that's
Yeah.
like that's the only reason why I'm here, is because I wanted it that bad, and it was like I just really believed it. And yeah, it's cool. That's why I always take time to talk to anybody, or give tips, or go out of my way to really like, help pass on like the joy that dirt bikes have given me. Because I remember being, that young kid just looking up to like those fast dudes who just are, you know, just doing things on the track where you're like, dude, that guy's like mentally ill with how fast he's going. Like
Right.
it's like that dude's got
That's
issues.
wild.
But it I looked up to that, and I wanted to be that. And I just remember being the young Grom and just thinking how cool it was if one of those guys like gave me the time of day. And so I always try my best to just to be there, and give everybody respect, and give anybody tips, and just pass on all the knowledge that I've gained. Because I might be kind of retarded sometimes, but like I love this sport so much, and I study it so much that like I feel like I'm able to articulate a lot of techniques, and a lot of just things to think about when you're riding the bike. And so I always try to pass on that information to anybody who asks, really.
Do you still do that? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go
Do
ahead.
you just like, because you say that you study, do you still study to this day, or is that kind of like when you were going there? Because I know there's so much to learn from the new generation, like Jet, Hayden, RJ, Hunter, even learning from Tomac still while he's here, and Chase Sexton. Who's kind of like the main people that you've been watching as of late?
Dude, my girlfriend knows this too because I'm always watching. I feel bad for her, but I have races going on all the time. I get home, I've got races going on. I turn on Racer X Vol, and
Yeah.
it will be like, Utah, like back, and Blake Baggett and, AC and dudes are just
Incredible.
battling.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch like old, like Stefan Everts, like in
Wow.
MXGP, and
Wow.
just watch his technique. And dude, I'll be just watching racing all the time, or I'll go back to old Verb Moto videos, and I still study it all to this day, along with the current races that we watch. Watching Deegan. I mean, I got Deegan going on right now. I got the race on the TV, and it's just it's fascinating. I tell you what, that second Moto 2 in the 450 class, watching some of the lines that Jet were doing, we can later on in this we'll geek out about some of the lines he was doing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm constantly studying, even to this day, even at the level I've gotten to. It's like I love it, dude. It's so cool to watch because I can almost uh, I can almost like feel what they feel because I know how it feels when we're racing the bikes, and I know what it kind of feels like when we're on the steamer, when we like put together like a really nasty lap, and I know how good it feels. Like there's no other feeling like it. Nothing on this earth can compare. So like when I see them doing that, I'm just like, man, dude, I know that had to feel good, dude. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
straight
that
up.
that
Yeah.
dude is like he's on a sick one right now, and I just I've got mad respect for anybody that does what we do, and yeah, I think it's also like kind of a shame, like how we are a little bit exploited. I mean, not even a little bit, like we're exploited in the sport, and there's a lot of things that need to change for sure at with pro motocross, and just how things are with the sport.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. And Tyler had mentioned, you always take time to educate the Groms. So, as a Grom in this position, I would love to be educated on your opinions on Iron Man because we
Yes,
were
sir.
geeking out before we got started. And Tyler mentioned your smile and stuff. We've just met, and I've never seen somebody smile so big when we started talking about Iron Man before recording. So
Yeah.
why
Yes,
don't we
dude.
take the step from the background right into Iron Man? I'm excited to see your progression as we see you race and continue. But now I want to get the inside scoop from you on what you
Yeah.
think about what's going on this season. So, 250 class, we had quite the showing. What were your takeaways from the 250 class? What do you want to talk about that happened in the 250 class?
Well, I'd say one thing that's really cool to watch is just Garrett Marchbanks, man. He's leveling up, and I love to see it. I used to spend some time in him with the gym in the evenings at club.
Mhm.
He is a great guy, and he also like would throw down some absurd lap times during the week at club that were just like a good like 2 seconds faster than everybody there. Like we would be doing qualifying times during the week at club, and he had those tracks dialed. But it's awesome to see him leveling up on this team. It's really dude, I mean, we can talk about Deegan all day, of course. Just absolutely digging. Um, and dude, this track was tricky. This is probably one of the trickiest tracks I think we've seen. And yeah, just to see some of the passes that were made, um, and I mean Deegan I'd say that second moto when he made, or no, second moto he whole shotted, right, and he was he checked out. But I can't remember if it was first moto when I think he had just made the pass on Shimoda. He was coming into some lappers, and like when you're coming into lappers right after you make a pass too, like that's like your worst nightmare, because then you're just like, dude, now it's giving the dude an opportunity behind you to like make an attack back if you get hung up at all. And that's one thing that I am bad with and I struggle with too. One of my biggest weaknesses is if I'm behind like anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, I just don't flow like I do when I'm out front or like have like a clear track. Like I don't. And so to see like someone just absolutely execute and like find ways around the lappers that are even like sketchy lines, like it was a sketchy line. Like he almost even went down and like going into this left-hander, like his rear tire barely stuck. It barely stuck. And like they were going into the section, like going into the trees.
Yeah.
And they were getting around the two AEO guys. It was Lux and Avery Long.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were getting lapped, and I think Deegan had just made the pass. He was coming in, and they were kind of in like the two like main lines, and he had to like kind of find a way around after making that pass on Shimoda. And Shimoda, you could see he was hunting. He was angry. He's like, I'm getting you back.
Digging, yeah,
he was digging. And for Deegan to just execute in those sections, and like how close he was to crashing, like people don't even like, they didn't really, I feel like the average person didn't really notice it. But like, dude, the risk that he was willing to take in those, like, that's why he is like the champion. That's why he is separating, because he was just so willing to take that risk and like execute like that. Like it was insane to watch. It was insane to watch for sure.
That's like, anytime I see Deegan doing stuff like that, I often think to myself similar things, right? Which is like, I can't believe he would choose that line selection with Shimoda right there, right? Like, he's just made the pass. He's coming upon these lappers and like immediately is switching lines and making it work. And I guess you're right. Like, that's not something the common audience member watching a race is like, well, we expect Hayden to find his way around lappers, but you don't think about the fact that he's like, I'm not just defending my line from Shimoda getting it. I'm also having to be conscious and have race IQ for the people that I'm passing. And it's like trying to balance that all while going, I need to break away for points is like a balancing act that I think you nailed on the head with being like, I don't think people talk about this much, but Deegan's a madman when he does
for
stuff
real
like that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think we have like the madman and Deegan for the 250 class, but we also have this like conservative and like very consistent Joe Shimoda that like I'm very happy about this season. So seeing them go back and forth a bit, I just wish Shimoda had a little more speed towards the end.
I think he's gonna get there. I think he's being smart, and I think he's keeping it healthy. I think he's being smart, and I think he's going to be someone that is just going to be in there whenever there's ever a mistake, whenever there's ever anything that goes wrong. He's going to be that guy where Deegan just like, damn, dude, he got me again. He got me, So it's only a matter of time till Shimoda is going to be taking the top step of the box. And yeah, it'll be cool to see if anybody else, is able to really level up. Because right now it seems like those are the two that are really separating themselves with the pace, I guess, with the pace, the fitness, they're able to kind of really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. Yeah. There's a couple other names. There are a couple other names of guys in there that I haven't seen before that were like hovering around the top 10. And I was like, who is this? There was I think he was from France. I can't remember the last name, but he was hovering around the top 10. and I mean, absolutely ripping. He was a
Yeah.
3-digit number. I wish I could remember the name, but I remember watching it and just thinking, like, dude, who is that guy? Who is that guy in the top 10 right now? Like, the 250 class is extremely stacked, like all the way
Yeah.
to 40th 250 class right now. There are dudes even in the very back that I, personally race, and I know, like, those dudes are savages. And I
Oh
know a
yeah.
couple of dudes that are straight savages that didn't even make the show. And it's like, dude, like, this is like the 250 class is very, very stacked. So for someone that, like, I mean, I haven't heard of him before, but he was up there in the top 10. I think both motos at some point. I gotta figure out what his name is. Uh, you
Yeah.
guys remember who it was? He was like, it was.
I know we've got Harrop up there, but we also have, is it Barami?
That's who it was. Yeah, yeah.
Barami.
Yeah. Who
That's
ended with an 18 and 27. But I remember he was up there for a
okay. He was
bit. He got good
okay.
start.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how he finished. I just remember catching him up there. I'm like, dude, who is that guy? He's ripping.
Yeah. Like you said, it's stacked. You're gonna be facing a lot of fucking gnarly dudes. So just to be up
It's
there
the best. It's
is
the best.
awesome.
You know.
You
Yeah.
know?
And
And
that's why I mean, that's why it's honestly sad, like, just the way just how the payout is, and how the sport is, how, I just think it's kind of crazy that we're like the only sport where you have to pay, to enter these events. It's like, you got to think of like any other, like, motorsports or any other professional sport. You make it to a certain level, and you should be able to make a good living, especially if you're the top 40 of, like, I mean, you got to think of how many people ride dirt bikes and race dirt bikes. Like,
yeah.
there's a couple million people, in the United States that race dirt bikes, that ride dirt bikes. Like, it's not like it's a super small, there's a lot of racers out there.
Yeah.
And if you reach that top 40, I just really think that, like, you should be making at least six figures. You should be making at least enough to provide for, a family. If you know, everyone that's there, every single rider that has made it to that level, they have spent a lifetime, and they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to this point, to get to that level.
Yeah.
And for, you to get, you know, 38th or 20th or whatever it is, and you make like $600 after you had to pay $270 to enter, you had to pay, $80 per mechanic, you had to pay all this money to do it, pay $500 for your license, and for them to just pay out like that little for riders that are putting their lives on the line, not only on the weekends, but during the week, during a practice day, every day that you ride, you are running a risk. And to just be getting paid like that, like, oh, dude, it's pretty sick. Like, it's pretty sickening, honestly, when you really start to break it down.
No, 100%. I definitely.
And sorry to go down this road, but it's like, just talking about how gnarly, how stacked it is, how hard everybody on the line is working to be in this position and to get there. Yeah. It's like, it should be a sport where if you are the top 40, you immediately should get that money back that you paid to enter. I think, at least if you qualify, you should get that $270 back. Yeah. And then you at least should be making enough to not only cover the next round, but also, put some back on the table to be able to provide. Like, some of these guys have families, they have kids, and they're out there putting their lives on the line. And yeah, it's really sad, dude. It's really sad. And the powers that be, they do it because we love it and we're willing to do it. You know what I mean? Like, even though, like, we're not making money doing it, it's like we still continue to do it because we love it. And it's like, we don't really know what else to do. So
yeah. And I think on that point, right, we've talked about on this podcast, we can bring up, right, we want to talk about the 250 class, Pierce Brown, right? Dude just came back from a gnarly injury just to get hurt once again, right? And it's like, that's what you're talking about, is And that's not well, he's a factory rider, this is a privateer. The risk is there for anybody who throws the leg over the bike.
Yeah.
And like when we're looking at other sports, right? Let's take any sport that goes in a stadium, right? You have plenty of Oakland Raiders players that never see that fucking field and they still get a living wage. Why is it that dudes that fill up the gate aren't taken care of? Right. And we could get into the talks of, yeah, man, it sucks when we have to bind together as the moto community and support GoFundMe's when there should be certain things that are taken care of. If a rider's putting himself at risk and gets hurt, there should be a way that is better. And I'm not saying community funding is bad, not by any means. But what I'm saying is there should be some benefits to being able to qualify for the big show, right? Where it's like, hey, if this is a risk you're willing to take, there's at least some idea of compensation towards the end. And I think that's a broader conversation, of course.
Yeah, all we need is like just a profit share, just a more fair profit share. Because someone's making money, dude. People are making money. And there's like 50,000 people that goes to some of these events at like $80 a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, right. And like all the people that pay for Peacock to watch, all the advertising, all the riders that pay to race, everyone that pays to race. I mean, that's money there. It's, there's usually 130, 140 guys per class, that are trying to qualify. That's 270, and if you end up getting a late fee, that's $325 per rider. So there's all we need is like some profit sharing, and then it's crazy. And to the point of some of the football players, basketball players, other professional athletes, I read somewhere that a third string guy that never sees the field, starting salary is $850K a year, and they're not even playing in the field. They're not even they're not even competing.
Right. They're in sweats and a sweatshirt.
Yes. And then you have
suited up.
You have like dudes, like Brandon Ray out there, battling for, the low 20s into the teens. And, I don't know, exactly what he's made this year, but I guarantee you it ain't nothing close to $100,000. And that's just like, that's so sad. Like, that's just, it's truly, it's borderline criminal. Like, it's borderline criminal, honestly, to be like exploiting us that much, It's, yeah, that's all I can say about that, really.
No, yeah, I fully agree. I'm only hoping that, it changes. Because a lot of people are getting hurt right now. A lot of people, we've had a lot of people pass away. Like, this sport is fucking gnarly, right?
It is.
And
it's the gnarliest.
The work you have to put in, the traveling, maintaining your bike to make sure your bike's up to par, and having a good mechanic and someone that's not going to get you hurt, depending that these tracks are built correctly. So you don't, endo or high side off a lip, or, the lips are messed up or come up short, anything.
Yeah.
There's so much can go wrong at the speeds you guys are going.
And it can happen so quick. I mean, I don't know if anybody noticed, but last Friday night, I hit a kicker off one of those triples, bro, and it almost ended my night. And I don't know if you saw it or if anybody saw it, but I hit a kicker off one of those triples, and I was like, dude, I was this close to going over the bars. And I was just thinking, like, man, that's a close one. And that's the risk that we take every single time that we ride, bro.
Close one. Say, that's a close one. You go, oh, that's a close one. I'd be going, I hope I put on my brown riding pants because I just shit them. Complete.
Seriously.
No, for sure. I for sure had some skid marks after that one, because it was like I was full panic revved. I went to just scrub the triple, and there was like, the triple had like, it was almost like a little bit of fluffy dust on like the lip, so you couldn't see the kicker. And it was already dark, so the lights. It doesn't matter where you are, even if they've got really good lights. The vision isn't as good as when the sun's out.
Yep.
And yeah, just that little, there was just a kicker like under the fluff. And I know I talked to a couple other guys. What's his name? Brad Burkhardt Booze, my boy Booze. He hit it too, and he said he almost ended his life. And so we were just like,
I
dude,
got his on camera. I got his on camera. It's the
yeah,
one. It was the one before the finish line, right? Like the one that you go up. Well, there was a kicker in that, and I got him going like that, and I was
oh yeah,
dying because he came around. He's like, oh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's so funny,
There
so
also
gnarly.
is one person, speaking of gnarly crashes in the sport, I'm going
Yes.
to say it. The one person in the 250 class I am hyped for with a 9th overall on the weekend, Austin Fortner back in the top 10, baby.
Let's go.
Back in
Let's
the
go.
So
fucking
pumped
top
for
10.
him, dude.
Anytime I see
Yeah.
that, yeah, Deegan proved he was Tony Stark. He was Iron Man this weekend. Take your
Yeah.
1-1, dude. Austin Fortner top 10. Don't care. That's what I'm talking about. But
He's
you
been
had
on a consistent uptrend, dude. He's been riding really good and getting things dialed in, and it is extremely rad to see someone who has been through, I mean, some of the absolute gnarliness of gnarly that you could ever possibly imagine, and for him to get back up and be still grinding and getting back, like that is it's inspirational right there, and I've got a lot of respect for that dude. A lot of respect for that dude.
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And you had mentioned, um, you know, the Kawasaki boys. We saw March Finks was getting a good drive this weekend. Drew Adams right behind him with an 8-5 for the day, for 5th overall. We've
Yeah,
also
he's
been
not real
seeing,
talked about, Drew Adams. You know, you
Yeah.
don't really hear a lot
dude,
about him, and he's saucing up there, dude, in the
he's
top
got the
10.
speed. He's got it.
Yeah, dude. And he's
But
got style. Any press day that kid is out at riding or any
Dude.
qualifying, he is cranked, literally
Yep.
tossing like some of the most ridiculous whips that you'll ever see. And
Yeah.
that's cool to see. You know that kid's having fun, and something about gingers, dude. They're just so fast. Like every redhead I know,
that's what I'm
dude.
talking about, man.
Every
Ray
redhead I know,
Kennard,
dude. Yeah,
RV. Oh yeah. The GOAT,
Carmichael.
Ricky Carmichael. Yeah, I almost
you
forgot
can't
him for a second.
you can't deny that there is some weird statistic and some weird genetic, issue going on with redheads. They just twist like they
Yeah.
all do. It's just they just do.
Mhm. I will say also big shout out for the 250 class before we move to the 450 class, unless there's other things we would like to discuss from the 250. Dude, Parker Ross taking a
Yes,
7th in Moto too, dude.
Parker
Let it
unreal.
be
Ross.
known.
I was
Dude,
gonna say
Yes,
something on that
awesome.
too. Yeah. Oh my
Awesome. Talk
god.
about
yes.
it. Talk about it.
I am so pumped for that guy, man. He's such an awesome dude. I like, and every time when I talk to him at, Paula Hangtown, even in a text, dude, he's out there fucking working hard. The 2 weeks after Washougal, when I talked to him after the race, he was just like, dude, I know that there's a break. I know that some people are going to be working or at least take a week off. Right when I get home, I'm working. I'm getting back
Mhm.
on it. I'm training. I'm getting my shit ready for Ironman, and he did. And for
Paid
that
off,
track,
brother.
for
It
that
worked.
track, wow, dude. A lot of the
Yep.
Bar X guys. I was hoping that we would probably see Dylan up there a little more, but I mean, dude, it just seeing Parker Ross's growth has just been so sick. I'm so
It's been
pumped for him.
special. Yeah, yeah. It's been awesome, dude. He's a NorCal boy, dude, and
Yeah,
it's been awesome to see. I know he spent a lot of time working with Pemel, Preston Mole, for many years up here. And I think that really gave him just a really awesome base. And dude, he's crushing it, and it is insane to see, dude. It's so sick to see.
yeah. And then yeah, before we get into 450s, I just want to say like, yeah, Vial. I mean, I thought Vial was looking pretty good. Didn't want to disclude him on that last race because he's had, a couple um you know, off days and stuff, and I think he didn't race for a little bit, but it's good to see him trying to get, you know, back. I am kind of I am wondering where he's kind of gonna go, if he's gonna stay with KTM or if he's gonna go back to Europe. I don't know if you've heard a little bit on that. Um, but it's a, you know, I do like watching that dude race. So I hope he stays with KTM and we see a little bit more of him, because I feel if he left, it would be way too soon with the progress that he's made.
It's interesting to see him riding here in the US because I watched a lot of him when he was racing in the GPs,
Same.
and there was a level of send and confidence that he had over there that was different. And I don't know if it's the bike, if it's, you know, maybe a similar thing with what Prado is dealing with, because I know that
That's what I was gonna say.
without the rules, like we have all these rules and stuff in the USA with what can be done to the bikes. And I know that those bikes over in Europe, they can kind of do whatever to them. And I remember when like Villapoto went over there to try and race GPs, and I think he struggled with how much horsepower those
Yeah.
things have.
Yeah.
He's on
And
record for being like, that shit was too gnarly, dude. Like
yeah,
that was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So I think that we're almost seeing like uh I want to say like it's like they're like capped with, you know, of course the
Nerd.
bikes are awesome. They're factory bikes. Of course they're going to be insane. But I just think that like they did things to their bikes over there that just gave them a little bit more, because the things that they would do on the track over there, I mean, it was like it was mental, dude. I
Yeah.
remember some of the lines and how dominant Vial was and how dominant Prado was. You know, just the things that they did on their bikes, like they were doing things that were just insane. And you know, Vial is he's leveling up, he's riding good, and that was a really good round for him at Ironman. But I definitely I really wish we could see, you know, him race against Deegan and
Yeah.
Shimoda on like the platform that he had over there. Like that's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's super evident to your comment about the MXGP. Just look up a video of Kay DeWolf riding, and you'll see exactly what you're talking about, where you're like, how is he launching that quad over the rollers? And like, I don't know if
Yes.
you've seen the clip, but he's coming out of a corner at the same speed as the other dude, and the dude triples it, and it looks like that dude's pushing it. He brings it up and out, and he's completely up and down
Yeah.
and just lays it on the other end. And you're like, madness. It's madness.
Yeah.
The wall ride clip,
That
like
dude's a freak.
there's a
Oh
whole
yeah.
bunch of stuff where like we even saw, you know, I think the only, you know, MXGP riders we've seen kind of come over here, like we've had Everts come over, we've had Hurlings come over, and people are like, Hurlings and Tomac. And on that one first race he came over here, Tomac was like, that dude's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say. The dude's nuts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we've also noticed, right? We usually can get out of the MXGP riders, like when they come over, their first couple races are like, okay, so they're up there. But I feel like as the season goes by, I don't know if it's because of the pacing. I don't know what it could be. We've been talking about this with Prado, right? Going to the 450s and stuff from Tom Vial. I hope Tom Vial stays with KTM. Hell, he's won them championships over here. He's probably one of their best bets. I'm sorry, I don't see Julian Bomer putting up a fight for a championship anytime soon. In terms of like the current state of the point standing.
Yeah.
Tom Vial, on the other hand, has been putting in a fight and has been bringing the results in consistency. Um, but I'm always interested, right, looking at the MXGP riders that come over here, because like we've even heard rumors, right, that Prado's like, it's not fast enough. And then other
Mhm.
people are saying, like, no, dude, other people have ridden the bike and said it's fast. But I think what you're saying is to that point of there's got to be some leniency that they have over there where they're like, I'm used to having way more power, which then gets us to
Exactly.
talk about the HRC guys and go, well, they obviously found where all that power went because the way they have them set up, you were talking about that, but to transition into the 450s, talk to me about who you were thinking was pushing the limit and what made it so.
Well, it was good to see Prado being up, in the top five and be fighting. He was definitely some better motos, but I think, and I see people online, they say like, oh well, there's Harrison on a privateer ride getting top 10, ended up beating Prado at I think the last round, and I think it's just he was used to maybe the bike over there that had so much more. Like I guarantee you that factory Kawasaki is not slow. Like I guarantee you it's a fast
Right.
bike.
Yeah.
I just think that he was probably used to something that was even more absurd, like a completely over the top. And so I think he's like you said, possibly nerfed, or
Yeah.
there's all kinds of variables. There's so many different things that can throw you off really as a racer. Like, I mean, if there's just a certain little bit of discomfort with suspension or even tire pressure, like I'll notice when my tire pressure is like a pound too high, like I can
Yeah.
feel that. I can feel if it's, too high or too low. And so, you can speculate with whatever, but I just, it would be really cool to see that speed and that confidence and that expression, because you could just watching those GPs, the way that he would express himself on the bike, it was like it was pure confidence. It was pure, I am a winner. I am someone who can win these races. We haven't seen any of that yet, and
Right.
I would like to see it. But yeah, the domination of Jet is just it's fascinating. Dude's an alien for sure.
Yeah.
It's the way he rides is it's unbelievable. He's so efficient, so beyond efficient, and is able to just nail these lines that are very tricky, very technical, and he's doing it just lap after lap. And dude, let's talk about that penalty. I think
Yeah.
that is complete BS, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I get the rule. The rule makes sense. Okay. If
Yes.
someone jumps the gate and they are having an advantage, they're in front of people, and they end up, top three or whole shotting, or they're up to the front of the pack and they clearly jump the gate. Yeah, you can dock them a lap. That's a fair rule. He was behind everybody. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like
He waited.
he
Yeah.
yes, he jumped,
He didn't
waited,
wait. He climbed and fought his way out of the gate.
literally. And for them to dock him a full lap over that, I think is just, yeah, I would definitely, I'd be trying to fight that, myself. If I was in that position, I would say, dude, that's complete BS. His normal starts are 1, 2, or 3 every time. And because of this mistake that happened, his punishment isn't enough. Him being back in like 23rd, 24th, like,
Right.
come on, people. Like, it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
It feels to me, I have this illusion in my mind that there is this council room of, and I don't know why, but posh British men that are like, what happened during the races, Zingg boy? And it's like, well, it seemed Jet Lawrence got hung up on the gate in a bit of a tussle. And it's like, well, we should punish the poor chap. And it's like,
Yeah.
it seems so Machiavellian. Like when you hear the announcement after and they're like, you said dock him a lap. What? Don't know, man. He's too good. Dock him a
Yeah.
lap, right? Like
Yeah.
you even see him. He's like, all right, well, I guess the lesson to take away from this is don't do that. I get like, okay,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me 17th. But to go from
Yeah.
last, claw your way all up, all through the pack, and then just be told one of those laps just doesn't count. And you're like, well, fuck it, dude. Like that
Yeah.
sucks. I could
Yeah.
get like docking him a position or two. I think that would be more easy to stomach. But again, this council of men in this room just almost having secondhand information. He jumped the gate. Great Scott! Like, punish him
For real.
immediately.
Oh, it's
Great
ridiculous.
stuff.
Yeah. No, and
But
it's crazy because that's bonus money that he missed out on. Like that's of course he's one of the highest paid. He just signed a big contract, but like still, dude, like I just don't think that that's right at all to punish a rider that is, in my opinion, didn't really that was his punishment, dude. He started in 23rd or 24th. Like,
right.
it's crazy.
So the posh British, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the penalty, well, that was some BS, but what of a hell of a ride, dude, coming back from
Yeah.
that deep, and he just continuously does it and does it again, blowing by literally the best dudes on dirt bikes that you could ever imagine, and is just passing them like they're nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on the 450s too, we talked about, a little bit earlier, we saved it for right now, but what is going on with Eli? What I think he still might be, a little under the weather. Because I don't know. 1 minute it was like a bike thing, then they fixed it and he was like killing it at Washougal. And with this time off, he did get sick, or a little bug, but he was able to pull both those hole shots, which was awesome. I was like, yes, holy shit, it's on right now.
Finally.
Yeah,
Finally.
We're gonna see some crazy shit. And Sexton was on his game. We have Jet. Hunter is an absolute animal right now, but I want to hear kind of like your guys' thoughts too on Eli Tomac, and as a professional rider yourself, with everything, like your take.
I think that it could have been the illness that definitely had an effect. I think that Tomac he's kind of always been that guy that if his bike isn't exactly the way he wants it to be, as far as, the suspension, the power, things working the way he wants it to work, he backs it down significantly and just kind of safely rides it into like a fifth or an eighth. I think he is not willing to push on a machine that he doesn't feel like he can push on. Where there are other riders that send. I feel like Sexton's one of the guys where it's like it doesn't matter what's going on with the bike. Sexton is putting down 150% of his effort every time he's on the track. And I think Tomac's, just kind of been one of those guys. I see a lot of people being like, oh, he's old. Even like, my dad will be watching, oh, he's just too old now. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what it is. He's been really healthy. I think he's healthy. I think he's fit. I think it's just, it's kind of been the same story. Like even when he was, younger in his prime, we have seen a lot of those rides where if the bike's not working, if he's not comfortable, he doesn't push, he just doesn't push. And so yeah, it's weird to see, but it's also, you can question that because the first few laps were great.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly the lap times were changing from the beginning to like that 15-minute mark, but like it was like that 15 to 18-minute mark. It's like either everybody else was starting to go faster or he was like starting to go slower. So it'd be interesting to really get into those lap times to kind of see like, hey, is he fading or are the other guys like just able to like adapt and they're like getting better towards the end and he's not feeling comfortable with it? I don't know. There's a lot to kind of think about there, but all I know is we're not seeing, the beast mode Tomac. And I really would like to. I want to see that 2015 Hangtown Tomac where he was literally just absolutely mashing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I watch that a couple times a month. I watch that race a couple times a month, if not every week. And yeah, I literally just watch it and just in awe of that display of riding. Truly, like that day goes down in history is probably one of the most absurd displays of riding a motorcycle that has ever been done in the history of humanity.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. I
Yeah.
also feel you touched on a good point where it's like, and I know some people may go to the instant he's old. One, I go, well, he's older. He's older than the other riders for sure. He's still kicking your favorite riders' butts every weekend.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't think the old conversation needs to be had. I think the more apt conversation should be he's older and he's still getting top fives in the premier class with the best of the best that we've ever seen, right?
Yeah,
We've seen him
exactly.
battle with Jet within this last year. We've seen him take it and win motos this year. We've
Hmm.
like we've seen him be able to do this. But I think you touch on a great point, which is, and I don't really get into a lot of the personal lives of riders, but I believe Eli's a family man. Could it be that he's going, well, I'm not going to push it if I'm watching Sexton eat shit by pushing a bike he doesn't feel comfortable with? Well, why the hell am I going to do that? I want to get a couple years left. I'm
Yeah.
fine taking a 6-3 for third on the day while
Yeah.
Jet jumped the gate and got, you know, whatever he got. You know what I mean? It's certainly better than Chase pushing it and going 1-40, right?
Right.
So it's like, did those thoughts get into Tomac's head? He's a human being. Of course they probably do, where he's going,
Yeah.
yeah, I can push it. Is it worth DNFing? I think where we're going to see him push the limit is SMX. He's been consistent all Supercross season to the best of his ability. He was consistent all motocross. He's gaining the points. So it's, am I conserving a little bit of my energy? We've also talked about the track was brutal. Could it be
Hmm.
that he
Yeah.
goes, I'm going to need all my energy for Moto 2 if it looks like this for Moto 1? Because you had even mentioned, we look at the track Moto 1, it almost seemed gnarlier, right?
Oh
Dude,
There
yeah.
were parts of it
it's
that seemed gnarlier. Could it be that he went, you young guys, go ahead, dude? That's
yeah.
Yeah.
fucking crazy. And
Dude,
then, yeah,
it's kind of been like there's been a few tracks that first motos have been gnarlier. I know at Hangtown personally, like being on the track,
Yeah.
the first moto was gnarlier than the second moto by far. Like the first
Yes.
moto was like treacherous. And so I think, that is a good point. Like maybe he is thinking about those things in his head, and I think it is. We are going to see, hopefully, that beast mode come out in SMX because hey, there's more money on the line. It's going to be big money, and he's been consistent. And I really think that he does well on those, Daytona style tracks, and
yep,
so
Yeah.
it'll be super interesting to see. I do personally think that his bike isn't working as well as he wants it to be. Um, I think, who knows what's going on behind closed doors, but if I were him, I would just, go back to what, you won on before. What was the setting that he was on? You go back to, he can probably go back to, motos where he was super dominant and say, hey, team, what was my setup that day? Like, what
Yeah.
was my valving? What was my clickers at? Like, what was my
right.
sag at? And to just kind of go back, because I think there's a lot of teams that, you get, a suspension guy in there, you get whoever's in there behind closed doors, and they're thinking, oh yeah, we got to do this, we got to try this might be better, you need to like this, there's data that shows that this is going to work better. And it might sometimes work better, but sometimes you might get lost testing and going a wrong direction. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's you wish you could be like, a fly on the wall, to just kind of see what they're doing during the week, and what, what his setup is, and just be like, hey, what is really going on. But it is fascinating. I hope that we do see the big beast mode, gnarly,
Yes.
just psychopath that we know him to be, because I think that there's no reason why he shouldn't be battling with Jet. And And, although they have two completely different styles of riding, I believe that they both know how to get around a track extremely fast for 30 minutes plus two and be able to battle,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was, I mean, I don't think it was as hot as Hangtown, but it was also the weather there. It was hot, probably a little humid, and just sucked too. I mean, yeah, Hangtown, we were both there. Hangtown sucked, dude. It was
That
hot.
was brutal.
And that's
Yeah.
not even, and I was just a filmer. Like, you guys were absolute animals out there. But like, your heart rate's 200 or maybe a little bit higher, and then going up and down in that heat and constantly working that track. Like you said, Moto 1, it was already gnarly. It was gnarly. And I know at Ironman they did take out the Godzilla jump, which I was actually surprised. I think it's just because they have the combines. I think they wanted to make the track shorter and get ready for motocross to nations, and maybe change some things because now they have the women's motocross as well. So
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that too. Yeah.
I know, yeah,
That has been so sick, dude.
it's been
That has
so
been
good to
sick.
watch, dude.
Yeah, they
But
battle, dude.
yeah, and yeah, so much to talk about for this sport, and I love it. What I'm thinking is, like, after Chase's situation, which he did post today, he's not going to be racing the last two, and he will see us at Charlotte, or we will see him at Charlotte for SMX. But allegedly, if Tomac is going to KTM and he's seeing, I mean, every team has their bike issues, but Cowie right now and KTM have kind of just been that up there with those issues. Do you think, allegedly, if he is going there, do you think he would be a little worried probably about switching, just what he's seeing for Chase Sexton?
Um, if he's not, I think he would be kind of crazy. I think he should
Yeah.
be at least a little bit concerned seeing just some of the things going on. Um, I I question if it would be more or less of a risk going to Ducati, and I think that that should have been something that he considered, just because although it's a new bike, the technology in those machines is going to be in, producing more horsepower. And we all
Yeah.
know Tomac says a bike never can be fast enough for him. He likes bikes to be really, really fast. Going to the KTM, I know it's factory bike. Factory bikes are nothing like, the production bikes at all. But I know that I was reading somewhere that those stock Ducatis are coming with like 63 horsepower
Yeah.
stock,
Wow.
which is absurd. And so it's like, maybe I don't know. If I personally were Tomac in his position with his history, seeing, how things have gone with Sexton, I just would be considering thinking about Ducati as an option. I don't know what they would be offering as far as salary or bonuses or anything for that matter, or who is, you know, I don't know who's running the team or who, their suspension. I know they're doing Showa that has is their
Mhm.
suspension,
Yeah.
but
I know Antonio Corelli's involved. He brought a pretty much stock one to the Nationals and was
yeah, and he was
kicking
top
ass.
10. Yeah, he was literally ripping
So
top tens,
if
and
you're
like
ripping top 10 and you're saying it's
at
pretty much
almost
stock because
40.
we don't have the sponsors in line yet,
Yeah.
that's pretty fucking crazy to me. So I
That's what
agree
I'm
with you
saying. So
completely.
I
Yeah.
I think that would have I guess if I were in his position, I would be seriously considering looking at that option to ride for them, just because, you know, those bikes, I guarantee you those bikes are going to be sick. Like they're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I just want to point out, and this is just my observation from lately, right? What we fail to remember, probably because of what's happened, is AP was constantly running top 5 and was making the bike work in Sexton's absence. He was really going fast.
Yeah.
So now that he's out on health stuff, we're not really seeing the KTM up there. But I do want to remind Chase Sexton was on what many people believe to be the fastest bike not so long ago, and was also having difficulties with setup, as he had said when he moved to KTM. I couldn't get the bike to feel right, but we've got Hunter and Jet that are going 1-2 pretty much every round. They're
It-
making it work. They're absolutely making it work. So I think it's another thing of, well, if we look at how Eli likes his bike, it could be that the KTM might be the way that he wants to go because he likes it for the reason Sexton might not, right?
Yeah.
Very true.
It's not something I'm privy to, but I think like you're absolutely correct. I said this before where I said it would be really gnarly to see next year Eli Tomac leading the Ducati team. I
Yeah.
think it would be gnarly. Um,
Yeah.
but let's talk. We've talked about bike setups working and not working. I think we've all can agree that the Honda team has got something going on. But there is a rider that had probably one of the best weekends he's had ever in this class in his rookie year, which is RJ Hampshire taking a second overall on the day with a third and
Dude.
fourth.
Yeah, I know,
Proving,
dude.
hey, dude, people were saying it's not like I was even one of these people being like, I don't think he's going to be like Jet coming in and being top. In every weekend, he's showing like, I'm not here to be, under the tutelage of another Husky. Like, I'm here to prove that I can be one of these top guys. So hats off to RJ, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Dude, he
yeah.
is killing it. He is absolutely killing it. And it's awesome to see that he is doing so well on the 450 because I know he had a wrist problem for a long time
Yeah.
with that. I think he broke the same thing I broke, the scaphoid, and thankfully, like when I did mine, it was very minor and it was in the spot where it actually gets blood flow. I know a few riders who have done their scaphoids and have broke them in like spots where, because if you break it in a certain spot, it doesn't get blood flow, and so they don't
Mhm.
heal. That's why I don't know if you guys saw Styles Robertson announce his retirement because of his wrist issues, and it was broken scaphoid. I know a couple other riders. I won't say names, but I know guys that have had their careers ended because of scaphoid breaks. That's why I was freaking scared when I broke mine.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I got really lucky, and it's so cool to see RJ coming back from that type of an injury that is tough to come back from and has a lot of lingering problems a lot of the times whenever you break it. And he's just saucing on that 450. And it's just so cool to see. He's another one of those guys like Sexton that, no matter what, it doesn't matter if the bike's set up for him or not. He's digging. And so it's really cool to see. And yeah, it's funny. He actually at Washougal, I remember him. I think I had just got lapped by somebody, and someone was on me for like a couple of turns, and they were yelling. And I remember thinking, like, dude, who's yelling at me? And I looked back and I saw it was RJ, and I was like, no way, RJ's up front again. And I literally had my
That's
helmet was
awesome.
like he went by. I was like, go, RJ, go, go. I was like, go, dude, go catch those guys.
So question, does that happen often where you guys are yelling shit at each
Oh
other?
yeah, yeah. I've heard. Yeah, the yelling is, dude. I've heard some crazy stuff. Like people yell like straight up like slurs at you, like when they're passing.
Oh.
People are. If you're getting lapped, like dudes are yelling. Or I mean, if you're in qualifying, I've yelled at people. Like, I remember,
It's me and MX bikes, dude. I swear
dude,
to God.
Southwick. I think it was Southwick in 2022. I was in A group, and I was doing in qualifying, and I was following, or I had just like went on a heater and then was like cruising, and then Dean Wilson was yelling at me and freaking getting all fired up, and like even like took his hand off. Dude was like,
Oh shoot.
and then the next lap, like he's on the slow and I was going for another steamer, and then I was yelling at him. So it's like, dude, the yelling, it's yeah, the dudes are really, they're yelling at each other. That's why it would be hilarious if there was like a full like Stark
Mic
Varg
up?
class, or like Stark Varg class,
Oh,
because you
dude.
really could hear everybody yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't do the mic up because I know like people would get their sponsors cut and like people
Oh,
would be
yeah.
getting in trouble.
It would be so sick though to have them mic it up like some of the other sports that do it just for like a segment. But
It would be
no,
awesome.
yeah,
It'd be
people
hilarious.
would probably get fired or fined for sure if that was on TV or publicized.
If you
Yeah.
thought Deegan saying "suck it" on the podium was crazy, wait till
Oh.
you hear this clip. Yeah.
I'm sure, dude. Yeah, I can't even. In the 250 class, what some of those boys are yelling. To you, their dudes are yelling some straight like
Heinous behavior.
they're yelling at each other out there for sure.
Jesus.
Dude, now the next time I'm gonna like when I'm filming at a supercross or outdoor, because I don't hear that. I don't hear
Yeah,
that.
you got to open up your senses, brother. You have to
Yeah.
attune to the race.
No, yeah.
Dude,
So
you'll hear it.
I've heard like some yelling before, like during qualifying, but nothing like too crazy. So now I definitely want to start paying attention. I always wondered, and I had a feeling because that local stuff, you guys, in a friendly way, will say, you or get out of the way, like coming behind,
Yeah.
go left, like, or, something like that, or you're slow, like,
Yeah.
but no, yeah, that's actually, I'm glad that, you asked that and brought that up. That is awesome.
Sometimes like if I'm like like at a local, or if I'm just practicing or something, and I'm lapping someone who is like one of my buddies, like, or whoever it is, sometimes I'll literally yell, like I'll blow by him and I'll like look, I'm scared, or like I literally
I'm
like yelling, I'm scared. And they're like, did you say you're scared? I was like, yeah, I was scared, dude. I was going so fast. Like, so I definitely, I'm always yelling stuff. I think I yell. I'm always like, I'll freaking throw my hand off and give peace signs to people. Like, it's fun, dude. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah, we saw that at, what was that, Hangtown, when the privateer was up with Deegan in the 250 class and they were throwing peace signs and shit to each
dude,
other.
that was so sick.
It was a bummer with Chase. He was just looking absolutely phenomenal. A lot of the guys, it was just all around good racing. But yeah, I was definitely bummed for Chase because it is really cool seeing that, Eli has been trying, and then Chase is coming in like, I got it. Like, and he's been battling Jet. It's like, I love watching Jet, Jet and Hunter. Like, it doesn't bug me that he wins all the time, but it is refreshing sometimes, and it keeps the sport, like, especially in the 450 class. Okay, there's 2 to 3 guys now, or 4 guys, even his brother included, that are trying to beat him. So it's like, come down to that. It's like, oh, I'm trying to win. It's more of, I'm going to beat Jet. I need to beat Jet. And Sexton is just, whatever he did on his break from those races, whether he kind of just took time off, regrouped, tried some new stuff. But it's just been super exciting to watch him ride. But I was
cool
really
because
bummed, dude.
When Chase and when anyone really is like pressuring, it's like, then it like, you start to see another level rise out of Jet. Like he starts upping it, and so it's like we just, when the battles are closer and people are elevating, like we as the viewers, if I'm not out there racing, we get to watch an even higher level of riding being laid down, and so I'm like, I'm all for it. I'm bummed that he's not going to be raced in the next 2 rounds, which is going to suck. But hey, at least we got Roxon coming back.
dude.
and that is going to be sick. And hey, dude, Unadilla is Roxon's freaking playground.
Yep.
He is just a feet on the pegs rut goblin. So
Yeah.
he's going to be out there just juicing and frothing, and it's going to be sick. I'm excited to watch this weekend. Wish I could be there, dude, because I've been to Unadilla before, and I really like that track. I like Budds Creek too. Wish I could be at those rounds, but yeah, unfortunately, dirt bikes are just extremely expensive, and can't really make it out there right now. But all good. It'll be
Yeah.
cool to watch and enjoy it, and yeah, it's gonna be some good racing for sure.
And then
Absolutely.
before anything, who for Unadilla, who do you have for, we your top, either your top three or your number one rider that's going to take 450s and take 250s? Same with you, Trev, and kind of hear our predictions.
I'm locking in.
Lock in.
I think 250 class. I'm going to say Deegan's going to take it. I think Shimoda's going to be in second. And I think third's probably going to be Vial if he can keep it up. But I think my wild card is going to be Marchbanks.
I agree. I'm thinking Marchbanks as well. And I think he might even be top three. I think he might get the better of Vial possibly. I don't know. It could go any way. You know what I mean? Like that's what's so cool about the sport is someone just could just be feeling it that day and just go on an absolute sick one.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm with you on that. Deegan's just he's on a sick run, and yeah, he just dude, he rides like yeah, like someone's got his mom literally hostage, and they're like they're like, dude, you have to throw down a Stanley steamer every lap for the entire 30 minutes, otherwise your mom is going to be put down. And like that's the way
me and Deegan in the same
that's like
situation. He's like, I got this. I'm like, tell her I love her.
yeah, no, that's how he rides. And so it's cool to watch. And then 450s, it's going to be Jet. I think we saw it with that second moto. If I think he got pissed over that penalty issue, and I think we saw some, of course, absurd riding that second moto. We could go back and watch just some of the jumps into the turns, the doubles over the rollers, just a true just display of he just was just on a sick one. And I think that he's probably not going to forget it, and he's going to go into this next round thinking the same thing. Wild card is, I think, dude, Roxon might lead some laps. I mean, I could see him pull a whole shot and like lead for like the first half maybe, and then I think he's probably going to be a 2 or a 3. But Hunter's fresh off a win. He's going to have some confidence, so it's going to be probably, the Lawrence's 1-2, and then I'd say Roxon in third.
Okay.
So, Tyler, I want to know yours before I give my 450.
Well, so 250, I'm going to go with the wild card. Well, not a wild card, but I think Shimoda is going to win Unadilla, to be completely honest. Yeah, I think Joe Shimoda is going to take first, and Hayden is going to take second, and probably Vial third. If like you guys said, like if he keeps it together, stays on top and consistent. But I think after that, Joe freaking wants it, and he knows that he has to put a big charge in these last two. We know how fast Hayden is, we know how hard he works and his skill, but even if Hayden wins, I think we're gonna see a good show between those two. And then the 450s, I'm gonna say the Lawrence brothers 1-2. And I know you said Roxon, but I think RJ is going to be top top three on the podium for third. I'm going to say
That's a
RJ
good,
for third.
very good call. Very good call.
So I'm going to try and be the Oracle of Delphi here. I'm going to try and summon the wisdom, and this is going to sound crazy. I think it's going to be Jet. I think it's going to be RJ. And I think it's going to be Tomac. Wild card is Roxon and Hunter Lawrence are going to battle like crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I
can feel it in my bones.
We need to clip this and then we
Yep.
need to rewatch it. Yep, because it's
And
gonna
if
be
I'm
interesting.
wrong, Jet Hunter. Edit
Yeah.
that. Edit that.
All right.
If I'm
all
wrong, the
right.
Lawrence brothers back on top. I was always a fan. But no, I do think, because Roxon and Hunter Lawrence, ever since he got on the 450, at any point have had some sort of battle go on between them. Because Roxon's really hard to pass. He is good at Unadilla, right?
Unadilla.
I'm fucking up, dude. But so I think it's one of those, the mystery card of Roxon being there. He is at a similar pace most of the time as Hunter. He's had a lot of time off to just chill and relax. He doesn't have as much at stake, and I think he's going out to have fun, which may be a dangerous combination. Because, like you said, he's really into ruddy tracks. He's foot on the pegs, and he can move. So
Yeah.
I also
He's gonna
think
be on a sick one.
he's got good starts, which pairs him, in my opinion, as being up there at the beginning, which I think is where we're going to see Jet pull away. We're going to see RJ get a better start, and hopefully we'll see Tomac in the mix. But that's my prediction.
Okay. Okay. Well, before we close out, I just want to say, CJ, thank you for taking the time. I'm glad we finally got to be able to do this. I'm sure we could keep talking about moto, so we'll definitely have to have you on again, because I can see
Absolutely.
us definitely having more fun on here for sure. But is there anyone that you kind of just want to thank for this year? I know that you're riding with, Beta right now. So if there's anyone that you kind of want to thank, and then just kind of do your plugs on your social media. Yeah.
Dude, absolutely. Well, just thank you guys for having me on, and I'm sure
course.
we'll do it again because I could talk all day about this stuff, and
Yeah.
I geek out just like you guys, and so it'll be sick. And then I just want to give a shout out to just all the people that have helped me out this year and who believed in me, and Beta USA, Brian Murrock, everyone who's given me this opportunity, and then my suspension guy Shiloh at Laner USA. He's just done so much to just help me get comfortable and just get me to the level I'm at. Works Connection, these guys, dude. Ryan Burke at Works always takes care of me. Brad at FXR taking care of me all the time. Everybody, dude. Works Filters. Dude, Dirt Trick Sprockets. Everyone, Mob Graphics, dude. There's so many people that have
So
come
many.
together to help me this year.
That's awesome.
That I just am so thankful and blessed to be still doing it. And hopefully we can finish out the year strong. And then the goal is always, to try and get on that full factory spot. And I'm coming for it, dude. I'm digging and gonna keep working. And we'll see how the rest of the year goes. And we'll keep talking about dirt bikes, dude. And I am excited to just watch the race this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Well, CJ, thank you so much for coming. We had a blast. Whether you are chasing the dream or delusion, whatever you want to call it, we are
Delusion, for sure.
excited. We are excited to watch the progress as you continue in this awesome sport. Thank you so much for coming, man. This has been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you guys, dude. I appreciate it.
Leave a like, leave a follow. Yeah, leave a like, comment, and follow. Be sure to share. Make sure that you guys check out CJ Tucker's Instagram. Instagram, TikTok, anything else?
That's it, dude.
Just, yeah, Instagram and TikTok,
We'll
and
have
the
it
links
in
Come
the
say what up.
will
If
be
you
down
guys see,
below. Exactly. And if
you
you're
guys see me
at the local track,
come say what up.
he will take the time. So go and meet him. Super awesome dude. Again, thank you for coming on, and everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Catch you later, boys.